Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy. This is the Katsu Camping Pocket Folding Japanese Knife, titanium and carbon fiber handle, Framelock, stonewashed cleaver, razor blade, leather sheath. Anyways, first off, I want to thank very much my Patreon patrons for allowing me to just randomly spend $120 or something like that on a completely ridiculous knife that I'd never really heard of before and wanted to give a shot to. I mean, seriously, their support makes this possible. I also want to thank my buddy Hawkwit over at Lamplight Reviews for the tip. He basically said, Nick, this is weird. You should look at one of these. And indeed, it is weird, and indeed, I have. So that is a beautiful thing. Next thing, size comparison. This is a rather large knife. Here it is against your Spyderco Delica and your Ontario Rat number 2. So you can see, yeah, that's a big one right there. This is absolutely a large knife, 100%. And here it is against your Spyderco PM2. And yeah, that's a big one. As you can see here, the blade length on this guy is large. This is coming in just under 4 inches worth of blade. That is a bunch of freaking blade. So there you go. That is your size comparison. And actually, I'll compare it against one of the knife. The sort of closest knife I have to it, that's this little guy. This is the Oda Knives FK5, I believe, the friction folder Higo Nakami style knife. So in many ways, these two are related, but only distantly and very strangely. So anyways, there you go. Next thing, Katsu Knives. So Katsu Knives is a company I have actually reviewed before on the channel. I reviewed a knife from them that was basically trash. I mean, look, it was okay, but it just did everything wrong in a lot of ways. I really didn't much care for that particular pocket knife. It didn't really work that well, and so you've seen them before, and I had kind of written them off as a company, but then, again, Hawkwit pointed this guy out to me, and it seemed just crazy enough that it might be interesting. So, that's what's going on here. They are a Japanese company at the very least, and they are very bad at naming pocket knives. So anyways, let's go on ahead and jump into the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly of this very weird little knife right here. So to start with, on the good side, I guess it comes with a leather sheath for some reason. Is it the greatest quality sheath ever? No, you can see here that the brass has already started to corrode of some variety or another. Or maybe that's stamping issues. I don't know. There's something going on here. But you now have the option to carry this knife, which has a pocket clip inside of a hanging leather sheath, kind of. See, now you've got that. Thank you. Whatever. So there you go. Next thing, it comes with, it doesn't come with anything. It comes with a leather sheath. That was the last line. Let me read the one that I'm supposed to read here. Which is that this is $115. Now, look, that's kind of, it feels high at some level, but actually it really isn't. Because it's a titanium frame lock with carbon fiber inlays, a VG10 blade, which is maybe a little more budget-focused steel, but nevertheless, and it has a bunch of little niceties in there, so I feel like that price is actually pretty okay. Yeah, so that's good. Next thing, there is also a drop point version of this. This is the, let's see here, stonewashed cleaver razor blade model, and as you can see here, it's got sort of a razory, cleavery blade. In many ways, this feels similar to the traditional Higo Nakami style blade. But at another level, there is that drop point option as well. So if that's something that's interesting to you, it's a little more low-key, a little bit more attractive. But I went this route because, honestly, I wanted to see something a little strange, right? Yeah, why not? Next thing, this guy is a locking knife. As you can see here, this is a full-on frame lock. Even though it has the friction folder style top here, that actually nests itself quite nicely down here, providing a little bit of a thumb ramp. And the knife itself is a is a frame lock knife. It is a titanium frame lock with a solid about 50% lockup. And actually no concern whatsoever about the lockup. It is a very solid choice. So even though you may see this tab hanging off the front of it and go, huh, friction folder? No, it's a locking friction folder. But actually, they've made the tab reasonably sized. This is really more, you can think about this as, yeah, it's certainly an homage to the Higo Nakami friction folder tabs of yore, if you will, but, or of mine for that matter. Sorry, couldn't resist. But it really, in practice, ends up serving as a front flipper. This is you can think about this as a very strange front flipper knife. Because that kind of disappears down there, not only does it provide a little bit of extra security in the lockup, but it is definitely That's interesting. So there you go. Next thing, this is not entirely unattractive. I mean, I showed this to my wife, and she kind of gave me the look of like, what the heck? Okay, it's not bad, and I kind of feel very similarly. You know, looking at this guy, there is a certain charm to it, given that some of the design cues feel a little borrowed, but still, it's not unattractive for the price there. Next thing, it has a very fine clip on this guy. You can see here, hopefully, that there is actually the clip. Let's see if I can get this to focus where I want it to. Yeah, the clip is itself hollow underneath there. It just contacts on the two parts, but the thing is, it is a milled clip, but the tension is good. Honestly, whatever factory put this guy together, did a pretty reasonable job designing clips, or whoever designed the knife, I suppose, designing the clip to have the right amount of bend. It's got a number of good-looking things there. Next thing, the blade on this guy is actually pretty reasonable. It is a VG10 blade, and VG10 is one of those steels that is good to go for everyday carry. It's a more budget-focused steel. You have to like sharpening a fair amount, but at the same time, it is fine. But the blade itself is relatively thin behind the edge, which is great. You can see here, if we zoom in a little bit here, yeah, you can see this thins out way down at the tip there, and actually the stock, although it's a little thick, there's a relatively large plunge here, and is the grind, it almost feels a little bit hollow. It looks like it might be a little bit hollow in there as well, so it actually cuts quite well. That's a nice thing. Next thing, this guy has a lock bar insert as well as an over-travel stop, as you can see right in here. A little bit of blade play, or I'm sorry, a little bit of blade play. There is a little bit of blade play. That's not what I meant to say, though. There is a little bit of over-travel stop right underneath there. There's a steel lock bar insert that actually looks a lot like what we're seeing out of like companies like We Knives, etc. So, you know, yeah, there you go. Nice modern features there. It has a very straightforward disassembly that was unproblematic, albeit it's a weird knife. It has a very strong action. The detent on this guy is quite strong, which means it's very easy the front flip there, although you definitely need to do a little, you know, put a little bit of effort into it with the thumb there. Something to keep in mind. Then finally, on the good side, honestly, it's well made. This is one thing that kind of surprised me a little bit. This really feels like it was made by a very good knife-making factory. You know, especially given that, you know, Katsu is not a brand that we're super aware of. In the community, it's always a little strange when you see something that's relatively well done, with things like internal lock bar reliefs, things like dead-on perfect centering on this guy. I mean, overall, aside from a little bit of vertical blade play that we'll touch again on later, it is absolutely pretty well done with the over-travel stop, lock bar insert. A lot of this, I kind of wonder whether they're using a factory that we all would know in the knife community, which would make this guy, you know, which gives them this level of perfection. Maybe it is Katsu. Maybe there's a guy named, you know, I don't know, Hiroaki Katsu sitting someplace in his workshop and, you know, knocking these guys out with a CNC mill for $125. I don't picture it, but hey, maybe there is. But whoever made this actually did a pretty good job. This feels like a very respectable modern pocket knife here without a lot of the hallmarks of a relatively weird, obscure, inexpensive, overseas-made brand. So, to me at least, all of that is the good, is that it's relatively well made. It has a nice, strong action, which is pretty easy to front flip, although you have to put a little bit of force into it. It has a easy disassembly, lock bar insert, over-travel stop. Nice, reasonably nice little blade that's very thin behind the edge. A fine clip. It's not unattractive. There's a drop point version. The price is fine at $115, and it comes with a leather sheath for some damn reason. On the great side, to me, this is weird. You know, look, how often do you see a Framelock Higo Nakami in titanium with carbon fiber inlays? The answer to that, prior to seeing this knife, was never. This is out of its lane. I really, what do you freaking say about this thing? They decided at some point in time they were going to take a classical Japanese friction folder, turn it into a titanium frame lock, retaining some of the... Whoever did this is very, very strange, but it's strange in the kind of way I can respect. This is a cool little design, and so I think it actually has a lot of salience, so to speak, in the knife market these days. Everybody's doing a lot of the same thing. This is not a lot of the same thing, and so I find that to be great. The fact that this is just so damn weird is probably a big perk, at least for standing out in the modern knife market. On the bad side, to start with, the size on this guy is a little bit weird. What I mean by that is that this really feels like it should be a smaller knife. In fact, when I ordered it, I kind of, and this is my own damn fault, I mean, the specs were right there, but I really anticipated this being smaller. So when I took this guy out of the pouch, it was like, holy crap, this thing's big. And it's kind of unnecessarily big in a lot of ways. Certainly, some people love really large knives, but for me, a Higo Nakami style thing, I just don't understand exactly. It's like it's borderline swordy at this. I am biased against really large knives. That's a thing that I acknowledge to be true about myself. But it is definitely, yeah, that's not something that's. There are a lot of people who might want this to be a little bit smaller, and I honestly hope that they at some point in time come out with a smaller version of this, because I think that could be a lot more compelling for a lot more people. But you can read this whole little rant as bias here. Next thing, this guy has a front pecker, a pocket pecker on the front. Look, actually, that's more of a joke than anything. This really won't be attacking too much in your pocket, because on the right side carry, which is the only option you get here, this will be hanging against the side of the pocket. Shouldn't interact with anything, but it is definitely amusing that it's there. But the way it's done, it carries okay. Next thing, this inlay pattern. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. This very much recalls some inlay patterns, specifically from the Shabazz. The Chris Reeve Knives Shabazz 21 has a very similar broken set of inlays. Look, it's certainly... It's one of those things where I'm certain it's just very, 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 very reminiscent. We'll just put it that way. Whatever, it's not a big deal, but it is something you want to keep in mind, and I kind of wish they had done something maybe a little bit more original with that, because right now it feels a little bit derivative. Next thing, VG10 for $115 it's unimpressive. I'd like to see them pop this up a level at steel, move up to S30 or something like that. Maybe there's a point of pride here in using a Japanese steel, then ZDP, whatever. But, this is starting to get to the price point where VG10 is starting to get a lot less interesting to me. Next thing, clip positioning on this guy isn't super amazing. What I mean by that is it is a straight vertical clip. I would have preferred the clip to be canted off to this side a little bit more. That way this guy hangs a little bit further back in the pocket rather than hanging dead straight like an arrow here. Whatever, not a huge deal. Next thing, there is some sign of dimpling in the titanium in there. It's not the end of the world, but it is definitely a factor, and it's something you're going to want to keep in mind as you move forward there. And it could just be that somebody over-tightened it at some point in time during the assembly, whatever. Next thing, and we're getting into bigger issues here. This is a very heavy knife. If we put this guy down on the, we are looking here at 5.48 ounces for 4 inches of blade thereabouts. And there is not really any internal milling on this guy at all. That was something that was a little bit disappointing to me, and I feel like that's a way that they could make this knife feel a little bit nicer. Actually, the other thing is that this affects the balance. The balance is a little further back on this guy than I'd like it to be. So I'd like to see some lightening pockets on the back, both to make the knife lighter as well as to make the knife balance a little bit better. But whatever. This is also a very strong action. Now look, this is fine for me. I'm able to reliably flip it out there, and in some ways it's better to have a strong action or a strong detent than a weak one, but it definitely makes this guy a little bit less appealing, and I can see a class of people for whom this is going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to flip. So that, to me, is the bad, is that the action's a little bit too strong. The detent, that is a little too strong. It's pretty heavy. There is some sign of dimpling in the titanium. The clip position isn't amazing. VG10 isn't so impressive at these price points. It's using a very reminiscent inlay pattern with a front pecker, mostly joking there, and the size on this guy just feels weirdly large. I hope they do a smaller one at some point. On the ugly front, there are two ugly issues here. One of them is that there is a little bit of vertical blade play here. It's not very much, and in fact, you can make it go away if you press the lock bar in further. That makes it fine, but this has just the slightest hint of vertical blade play. I don't like this. This is absolutely an ugly thing. You could probably fix this yourself by bending the lock bar a little bit more strongly this way, such that it fully engages with the blade there. And I see no sign, by the way, that the lockup is in any way insecure. It works 100%, but that's definitely not a great thing, and especially given that they've gotten everything else right. I mean, the blade is dead-centered and whatnot. That seems like a little bit of a strange thing. So this definitely has that vertical blade play, and it definitely shouldn't. So, by the way, if you bent the lock bar, though, that would increase the detent even further, which, yeah, it's a vicious cycle. The other ugly thing is, guys, give it a freaking name. I mean, if you look at the Amazon listing, I have not been able to find a more specific name or model number for this guy beyond Katsu Camping Pocket Folding Japanese Knife, Titanium and Carbon Fiber Handle, Framelock, Stonewash Cleaver, Razor Blade, Leather Sheath. Just call it something. Call it the Mega Higo. Call it the freaking Katsu-tacular 5000. I don't freaking care. Give it a name, people. Seriously, it's really, really difficult for me to... I'll probably just drop an Amazon link in the description below just so you can figure out which freaking knife I'm talking about. But Katsu, come on. Even a string of numbers is better than that. Because no. Just no. No. So, to me, at least, that's what's ugly here, is that it needs a name just badly, and that there is a bit of vertical blade play here that really shouldn't be the case. Final conclusion. This knife is weird. It's super weird, as a matter of fact. It's good weird in some ways, with a relatively low price for what you're getting. A titanium Framelock here. It's a fine clip, a decent blade, a good action, solid construction, unique design. It's bad weird in some other ways. It's huge. It's got a front pecker. Whatever. It's VG10 and over $100. There is some dimpling there in the titanium. It's got some overstrong action, no name at all, and a serious size and weight with a bit of vertical blade play that's just freaking ugly. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out how this thing was made. Like I said, in some ways, this feels like they went to a well-known and respected knife-making factory and walked in with this design. And Mr. Katsu walks in, sets the drawings down on the table. The factory guy looks at it and goes, "Wait, really?" And Katsu says, "Yeah." And then factory guy says, "Really?" Yeah. And then oh, come on. What's the freaking show here? Oh man, that completely with Larry David. Curb Your Enthusiasm style, staring at each other, back and forth. And then eventually Katsu takes out his checkbook. The check clears, and suddenly they end up with this. And it's interesting. It's a very strange knife, but I really recommend it at some level. But I kind of don't, but I kind of do. I have no idea. It's not super pricey, but it's super weird, and it's got a little bit of blade play. It's got a very nice action, but it's super weird, and it's completely huge in VG10. It's completely unique, but it's also overweight, weirdly balanced. I have no idea whether I recommend this knife. Certainly, I would want to make sure as you're doing this, as you're doing your check-in, if you get it out of the package, make sure you don't have blade play, because if you do, just send it right back. That's an ugly thing. But honestly, this is a weirdly fine knife. There is nothing that would make me advise against it, and if you're loving it, okay, great. Follow your bliss. And I think that if you do, much hilarity will Katsu. Anyways, there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you. Sorry I couldn't remember Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's a really great show. And have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.